good news for South Africa. But Dominic Brown, if his comments are anything to go by, he seems to suggest that the fourth quarter, it's a very busy period in terms of trade. It's December time. People have been saving up, and so it's time to go spend that money. My takeaway from that is that he does appear to be suggesting that this is not quite what the picture looks like, given the troubles we are in, namely load shedding and the like.
He's absolutely right. Good morning, Oli. I wouldn't put it the way that he put it. The way that I would put it is that these are seasonal jobs. Just like you're saying, the last 3 months of every year, any year, you will find those seasonal jobs in retail, in the agricultural sector. So the last quarter of every year always looks better because people have those jobs that they know are coming in. So we've come to expect that in the fourth quarter there will be that good showing of jobs. Not a lot, 169,000 jobs created. These are not permanent jobs, of course, but it actually brings down that particular unemployment rate from 32.9% in the third quarter last year to 32.7%. A 0.2% change, and it's something that we're really expecting it to change in the first quarter of 2023, because that's when now the real picture really emerges, in particular of how much of an impact the load shedding and these blackouts have had. So we are expecting that this is going to change, but these are good numbers nonetheless. We saw how December last year was quite different with tourism and travel, people going out, compared to the 2 previous years. So we were expecting some good showing here.
Well, let's talk about those sectors then that may have contributed to this brighter picture.
There are a number of sectors, including transport. So people are traveling more, people are hiring more cars. Those companies that are in the car hire business will hire more people during that period because they are expecting that high frequency and patronage of people. So transport actually did quite well, adding 43,000 jobs in the last 3 months of the year. But those are not permanent jobs.
As you go back to that point,
yes,
it's seasonal
it's
jobs.
Seasonal jobs, but it's jobs nonetheless. But the 2 industries that actually led this particular growth, it's finance, which is a sector that is quite huge in South Africa. And we've seen, for example, banks in the year 2021 adding 23% to the country's GDP. Those are just banks, and that's how big the finance sector is in South Africa. They added 103,000 jobs in the last 3 months of the year, followed by private households, those people that are hiring people who work from home to give caregivers and people who are looking after the home. 54,000 when it comes to those jobs that were created. And trade added 52,000 jobs. You expect this as well, but it's something that is quite different this time around. We normally see agriculture being at the top of these sectors in the final quarter of most of the previous years. They are not here at this time. In fact, job losses were recorded in community and social services. 122,000 jobs were lost there in the last 3 months of the year, including agriculture, 12,000 jobs, same as construction, 12,000 jobs lost during that period. So it kind of shows you that the formal sector is still the biggest employer in South Africa, with formal jobs accounting for over 68% of all jobs. And informal jobs, where we should actually be, most people are saying, most experts are saying, we should be putting our efforts into, we should be focusing on informal sector, making it more attractive to young people, making the entrepreneurial spirit really come out. It's where many people think the unemployment rate will be dented through the informal sector rather than the formal sector.
And let's perhaps conclude the conversation on the formal sector. You spoke about the finance sector, and that seems to be the largest contributor. Yes. Not so long ago, I was reading an article where they are holding simulation exercises about the possible eventuality of a complete blackout owing to load shedding. So all of these gains that we seem to have made in terms of that sector absorbing people into jobs, all of that could be undone.
It definitely will be undone, and the most worrying part, we haven't gotten to it, I'm getting to it now, is the fact that the youth remain vulnerable. Black Africans as a group are the most vulnerable when you look at race, but when you look at age, those between the ages of 15 to 34 are the most vulnerable, and when you compare it to quarter 3, it was standing at 45.5% of young people without jobs, and now it's standing at 45.3%, a small change, but the total number of unemployed youth did increase, according to States SA, by 46,000 to 4.6 million. So this is a huge change. At least 7 million South Africans are not economically active. When you do expanded unemployment, you actually look at 16.8 South Africans who are not economically active. They are discouraged, work seekers, they're not looking for jobs, they're not in education, training or employment. That's a huge number of a mix of young people and old people who do not have jobs.
You think the government is going to make a big song and dance about this positive picture coming out of these fourth quarter numbers, or they're going to be a little restrained in their reaction because perhaps they know what's coming?
I'll take the wins if I were them. As small as they are, I'll take these wins. 169,000 jobs being added. The picture could have looked totally different. But at the present moment, where we have slow economic growth, we are being grey-listed, which is going to add more problems to our
confidence.
To business confidence, in particular in investments, finance sector, which added more jobs, with load shedding, with credit rating downgrades. This is good news, and I would take it, and I wouldn't beat my chest if I were them and shout in the mountaintops, but this is actually good. We need to do more. Clearly we need to do more, because we do have the highest unemployment rate in the world, according to the International Labour Organization.
Xolani Mbanjwa is our business editor here at Newzroom Afrika. Very, very good way of actually characterizing the picture we are seeing in front of us. Well, we are going to have to wait and see what the reaction from government is going to be. My thanks to my colleague.